Hello and welcome back to this British Football Guy. I'm back with Logan this week. Thanks for coming back on, Logan. How are you doing?
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
We're back in the studio today, so it's the closest thing to having a live episode. So this we're going to do a few episodes whilst we're here, and just to start things off, Logan and I actually faced off in our own fantasy league. The first time that we're in a fantasy league together. It has 8 people. It constitutes as both of our wives and our wives' high school friends. Actually, one of their high school friends, just give you a bit of an idea of what type of level this is. One of their friends, Ethan, he has a podcast of his own called Goal to Go. You should check it out. And that's a really in-depth and analytical podcast. And actually, it doesn't talk as much shit or has better references and better facts. And yeah, it's probably just better. Yeah. So, Ethan obviously has a good knowledge. He used to play college football as well. But for the rest of them, there's Brianna, Carlos, and Ethan's future wife, Lexi. Put a bit of pressure. So a bit of a mix. Anyway, so the first game that we played was Logan and I, Clash of the Titans, the clash of the best-looking players in the league as well. How'd it go, Logs?
Oh man, what a weekend! We were supposed to both get 144, and then I thought I had it in the bag with Thursday night game. Amari Cooper scored 40 points as my flex, and I was just thinking like, how is Ollie going to come back from this? Well, he did. Really, unfortunately. But
when I saw Amari go off, so I'm in 4 leagues this year, and I was like, what a good ratio would be to win 3 out of the 4 every week, and I'll be happy with that. I think, kind of looking at that, I was like, well, I've lost one against you, because I looked at the rest of your team and I was like, I don't see gaps. And who was my third string? Oh, my flex, was it Debo Samuel?
Yeah.
So it's Debo. I was like, Debo's good, but 40 points or close enough. It was tight, and to be honest, I didn't think even at the end of Sunday night, I was like, because you had Darrell Henderson, and I think he got a little higher than you projected. Right. And I was like, it came down to Monday night, your defense, Baltimore Ravens,
versus your kicker,
Daniel Carlson. And I think what there was, the projected was, I had to make up a gap of like 6 or 7 points or something like that.
Yeah, real close. And I was watching the stats all night, and it was me up 99 to 1%, you 99 to 1%. And this was like literally almost minute by minute as like one little score happened or a sack happened or something like that. Well, you ended up winning it by 1.5 points.
Yep, that's all it takes.
79.86 to 181.46.
And, I was looking at it. I didn't have any high hopes. In fact, I didn't actually start watching the game. I put money on the Raiders just to make it a little bit interesting, but I had a bit of work to do. So I had it in the background. Ritz, my wife, was watching it in the other room so I could kind of hear what was going on. And then I was like, wow, this is interesting. Did it go to overtime?
I don't think so.
It was getting that way. I know it was really close. And
yeah, I'll have to check that.
I think you even got the Ravens even got like an interception. I was like, well, that's done that.
Yeah.
So I just thought, okay, not even going to look at it. But the thing I was thinking was like, because we have, what did we end up on? What was the final score? So we projected 144 each, and we ended up as like 170. Yeah,
179.86 to 181.46. So basically like 1.5 points.
So I was just thinking, I was like, well, if I don't win this, at least I'm going to have the second highest points total in the league when we looked at everybody else. I think my wife was third with like 174. Yeah. I was like, it's going to count, for the playoffs if. But yeah, won four games out of the 4, and like I said on the last episode, that upset parlay came in big. So it was like the best sporting ever weekend. Man United beat Newcastle, Ronaldo's first game back. Obviously the midweek game wasn't as good, but there was a lot to be had. ASU won. I mean, they were against UNLV. So anyway, good weekend. Good. So anyway, who are you playing this week?
Your wife.
And I'm playing your wife.
And Marissa has been like, how am I going to beat Ollie? What am I going to do? He scored so many points last weekend. I can't compete with this. So she's like made trades and like trying to figure out how to like stack the deck against you. But I don't know if it's going to happen because obviously like everyone has
really good teams.
Really good teams right now. So she's kind of like trying to scrap up some of the last minute players. I think she ended up swapping out one of her tight ends for Gronkowski because he did amazing this last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even changed out her defense. Anyways, she's trying really hard to put an impact into this league, especially after losing to Brianna this last week.
Yeah, she got whooped. And it's interesting. So she had Washington play last night, and they only got 3 points against the Giants, which
surprising.
Yeah, which is good. But she, like you said, all the teams are good. She's got McCaffrey. She's got. I think it's going to be a really challenging league. But it does sound like this is the swingers episode, or the swingers episode of the league. The wife swapping. All right. So look, this episode that we're talking about tonight, this afternoon, you don't know what time it is. I love, like, we did the episode, Ben and I, on if not Madden 21, which was like if you could create a football game. I don't think there's that many. There's not a plethora. You don't have much choice, right? So it's Madden, or I told you about this Axis game.
You ever play Blitz the League?
No. That
one was fun.
It seems like there was a lot more back in the day.
Yeah, you could break bones and you could see it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was like way more intense than just a normal football game.
What was the one that Ben was talking about? It's like he had it on N64, and it was
might have been that old.
Like wrestling type of moves to take people down.
It's way old now, but yeah.
So there doesn't really seem to be that much of choice. So I was like, I love the creative piece, and you probably see when we do our teams in here, or kind of what we do, and just creating something that's really original. And I remember with NBA 2K. I can't remember the year, but you could upload your own graphics. And I was managing a team out in Denver at the time. I had my office, and our graphics designers for the company made our office their own logo, and we were known as Wolfpack. Oh. And we were out in the Rockies, so I was like, okay, that's really, what's the term I'm looking for? It aligns well. So I took that image, and then I also put. Oh my God! You just showing me this. Oh my, this person just getting kicked in the nuts. Blitz 2.
Blitz the League 2.
Blitz the League 2. What year was Xbox 360? It said, so it can't be too old.
Yeah, could be close to 10 years old. 360 is
old. Think about that. Damn, time goes by quick when you get older. But anyway, I was looking. We had this graphics set, and he came up with this badass wolf image. So it was like, and it was like a whole pack of different type of images that he had. So I uploaded it onto the NBA site, and then I was playing as a team and designed my own. The hardwood floors was of that logo, and how it transposed was insane. So anyway, and actually I do have a sponsor. We don't have a real sponsor yet. It's not a fictional sponsor. This is something I'm trying out. I'm going to tell you more about a story, and it's going to be. dhgate.com, and we're going to come back. It's all going to loop in to this creative episode. But like even the jerseys, they had the logo on, picked like Harden, almost like the Brooklyn Nets team, but based in Denver. But I loved it. I loved seeing something that you had a part of creating, which honestly started with quill and paper, where I kind of drew this idea, sent it to our graphics design team. They came up with a better design. And then from that, it went onto the jerseys of the NBA 2K and on the hardwood floor. And that's what I like to see just in generally is creating stuff. Even with the work that I do with the company that I work for, my role has a lot of creative avenues to it. And even on my team members, I think some of them are great with that kind of creative nature. So what this episode is about is if there was a game or if you could create or buy your own NFL franchise. So Logan, we both win... $2 billion each, and we're buying an NFL franchise. It's an expansion, so it's not going to take anywhere. So this is it. We have $2 billion, so we're going to build a stadium, and because it's an expansion, we're going to get 5. Wait, how many have I put here? 6 draft picks, and when I say draft picks, we have 1 marquee signing that we can take from any player. So what would be a first rounder on fantasy football? everything else for the other position. So we're going to have a quarterback, a running back, wide receiver, tight end. One of those can be a marquee signing, like a first rounder, and everything else is, any level after that. And then 2 rookies from the most recent NFL draft. Who would you go for? And then who would your GM be? So you have to hire a GM. And who would your head coach be? Where is the city? What is the team's name? There's a lot of shit here, isn't there?
Yeah.
When I text you, like, came into the house and you're like, there's a lot more that you didn't. Oh, and the mascot. And do you have a mascot?
I'll try.
Okay, there you go. Anyway, so franchise-wise, so this is something that I'd love to do and just kind of, again, build. And mine's we've actually talked about a little bit, but I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, yikes.
Or would you like me to go first?
I suppose just to get it out of the way, I can go first.
Okay.
But I have a feeling we got to leave the best for last because mine's probably going to suck in comparison. So most of you don't know me. My background is I'm from Montana. So I would take a team to Montana and probably build the stadium near one of the mountain ranges so you could see it from one end zone. I think a couple of the cities I would lean towards is either Whitefish or Bozeman. If you don't know Montana, 2 of the best cities for sure. There's a couple other good ones, but those are the 2 I would lean towards. Beautiful mountain ranges, and Whitefish has a really good food area and a lot of really nice stuff to do in that.
You'd expect it being called Whitefish that they have good fish, not seafood, but
just outdoor recreation, a lot of nice fishing. It's just good place to be for sure.
What's the population?
Depends on the time of year.
Fair.
Oh, because winter is brutal up there. So you're talking, I don't know, maybe a couple hundred people. And then...
Wait, as the town's population?
Oh, yeah. And then summertime, because it's such a tourist destination, you're talking thousands of people.
So the NFL season runs from September to...
I know. And so I didn't think out
I like this
that stuff at all, but I'm just thinking ideally from my own personal preference where I would want to be as a owner to watch games would be in a stadium like this. Oh yeah,
fuck the fans.
Yeah.
Wait.
I want 100 people in my stadium.
Yeah, absolutely. You've just won $2 billion. You can do what you want.
100 people in my stadium.
You can have 10 wives if you want. You can write the laws. You can make the laws in Montana. You own Montana now. You're a real life Kevin Costner.
Could try.
So I like this. So I love the idea of having the stage and the sides look at the mountain range. Have you ever been to Coors Field in Denver, the Colorado Rockies?
I haven't been to the stadium, but I've been to the area, so I know what it is like. Yeah.
This is, and I'm going to show you my Instagram as well. Actually, let's bring it up on as I talk about it. I'll show you on Google. So this is, I've been to a good many stadiums for different sports, and I would have to say, kind of Old Trafford, obviously being a Man United fan, is kind of one of the most amazing atmospheres. But, and I'm just showing Logan here, Coors Field is up there, if not number 1. And what I'm showing Logan here is that's the Rocky Mountains in the background, and you kind of see this purple hue with the sunset. And obviously the Rockies are in purple, and that is, we'd go up to this kind of level. It was just stunning. It's just amazing. And that Megatron that you see, I've been on there. I won a Sports Clips free cut. The fucker that got the prize before won a signed jersey by Blackman. I'm like, wait, so that's probably about $250 in value, and I get a $15 voucher. But I got on the Megatron. It's a bucket list thing. So, but yeah, so that's how I'm imagining it. Is you've got this open end where you can see the Rockies. That would be the same for.
Yeah.
What is the mountain range called?
Not really sure in the area. So if you're in Whitefish, it would be Glacier National Park would be kind of the backdrop. I'm not totally sure where Bozeman is. There's also Big Sky, which is not far from Bozeman, and that has an incredible mountain range. It's part of the Continental Divide, Rocky Mountain Range that reaches up into Montana, and that settles kind of within the valley almost. of the mountain range.
So I know that the show Big Sky, because Montana's hot right now in just terms of TV shows and everything. It's like, so I reckon Montana is a perfect place. And I was hoping you might do Montana, but I like 200 people in average 60,000 seat a stage.
Yeah,
70,000.
that's what I want. One person has their own entire row or section.
A whole section. But if you think about it, what is the weather like in, say, November?
Real cold most of the time. And you're talking, it can get pretty frigid. I remember just as like a kid going like trick-or-treating for Halloween. One year it was super cold. I had to wear my winter jacket with like snow pants underneath my costume to walk house to house because it was so frigid. So that's kind of what you could expect.
Which is good. I like. Okay. Well, sorry. I've interjected, but I love this initial piece. But keep on going. So it's in Whitefish or Bozeman.
Sure.
And that the stadium's facing the mountain range, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
What else you got?
And then I guess you wanted the kind of what we would base it off of, like as far as a mascot or something. You know, most teams have like Arizona Cardinals, you know, that's based off the Cardinals. So Montana has a plethora of like wildlife. So I would lean towards, I actually lean towards like either like a stag or a deer or an elk. And then I thought they have a college there that's based off the Grizzlies. And I feel like it'd be great if you could base it off of that and like come to an agreement between the between the school and the team to do something like that. Cause Grizzlies are terrifying if you don't know anything about Grizzlies. But then I also thought, and this isn't really well known except for probably people in Montana and I guess maybe the government. Montana actually has a ton of missile silos buried underground, and Kennedy actually gave a very famous speech about having an ace in the hole and how that like during the missile Cuban crisis and all that, Montana was actually what he was talking about. And there's, I don't even know how many anymore, but multiple, like over 20 missiles there, and they're called the Minuteman missiles. And I feel like Montana missiles or Montana Minuteman missiles would be like an awesome name to go off of for that, just as like an homage, I guess, to like the history of what Montana's kind of supplied.
So you kind of set the scene as that you know, this is going to be a really shit. I haven't really put much together here, and then you put all this history about Kennedy. I thought you were going to say the Montana Cubans, but the the Bay of Montana pigs, like the Bay of, no, I'm stretching. Okay, that's insane.
Yeah, so I kind of almost like that more. I mean, I love wildlife. I'm a hunter, and I enjoy camping and just being around animals, and they would definitely be a great mascot or something to go off of. But I think in this, there's no team that's based off of a missile that I know of. So I think that'd be pretty sweet, just off of the history and kind of what stands for Montana, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. I'm thinking the closest thing that I know of is like the Jets.
The Jets.
It's a fighter jet. And
or then like Arsenal, you know, they're like the cannons, basically.
Like a military piece.
Yeah.
But so would it be the Montana Minutemen?
Well, technically it's the Minuteman missiles, or you could probably just shorten it to Montana missiles or something like that. I think would be kind of cool.
That's badass. And
then I was thinking like color wise, you could do like military green with a gray, like a nice steel color would be real sweet.
Oh my god. Oh shit, I didn't even think of colors, but I kind of have it always in my mind. But yeah, that's beautiful.
I think it'd be good. Except for the 200 fans in the stadium.
But if it becomes like one of those sports fan pilgrimages where it's, you know, this really unique team, and I love that. I mean, Green Bay is not a big place.
No, that's true.
It's like we talked about this, the Premier League before, like Burnley, Blackburn, these smaller teams that have populations of like 100,000. Or even like, I think it was Burnley's like 60,000 or something like that. It's ridiculous, right? So I think you would probably get people coming from other states. And Montana's a rich place. You'd probably want companies, corporate and stuff. But I love this. So the Montana missiles. And I was thinking about the Grizzlies. It's like, why did I have a thought about the Grizzlies? Well, Memphis.
Yeah.
But Tennessee doesn't have grizzly bears.
No. They probably did at one point in time in history. Long time ago.
Before those damn Brits came and wiped out everything.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah, I love both ideas, and even like when you said stags, or just like the antler type of piece. We talked about the helmet design before, like how cool. Like if you had, well, the Irish team that we came up with was like the Irish Stags, and that would have been theirs because I think. I don't know if we were drinking on that one, but I can't remember if it was.
Edmonton Elk is actually a Canadian football team, and they have antlers on their helmet. It's pretty good looking.
I'm going to search that well. So, okay, all right.
I think they're green and yellow.
So you've basically just bought the Edmonton Elk and brought them to Montana.
Well,
sneaky.
I think I'd probably keep it as the. I don't know. I think Missile would be pretty sweet too.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely. So I think just looking at Edmonton Elk now. Oh wow, that's Madonna. Edmonton Elk looks
it's a cool
like
logo.
Do you know what I see when I see this? Okay, so I'm just showing Logan this so you won't to see this here, but it looks like it's John Deere on a helmet. Edmonton Elk. Just search for Edmonton Elks, and it's a John Deere. I'm expecting this is a tractor. These helmets look pretty sweet. I will give them that, but I'm just thinking Green Bay and
it's the green and yellow. Too iconic.
But that helmet's sweet. I do love helmets and kind of the designs and stuff like that. Anyway, okay, this is going to be a longer episode than I thought. But okay, I'm going to stop interrupting. But I'm liking all of this. So, Montana Missiles in Bozeman. Bozeman has an airport, right?
Small one.
I think Whitefish.
Smaller. That's the problem. Montana's so remote. Like your best bet would be to like fly into either a neighboring state and drive, like go to probably Seattle and then drive over. Oh
shit, really?
Probably, yeah.
So tell me, like, okay, because I'm going to dig deep into this. What capacity would you have the stadium at then? Seriously, thinking of that population.
Oh, I don't know. You couldn't I don't think realistically you could have a team in Montana with the current population.
But no, this is what I mean. Like, it's in this unique world that we've created for football. Let's say it is an expanded franchise, and because it's revenue shared, and they make so much revenue, who gives a fuck if it's a 70? It doesn't need to be economically. You don't need an 80,000 stadium.
I'm sure it'd piss off the rest of the owners, though.
Yeah, but I mean, think about what was it? The Field of Dreams and the game that they did in Iowa, right? Mm-hmm. Was it Iowa or Idaho? I always get mixed up. I don't know. But that was only like for 1,200 people. It wasn't a lot. I mean, you could build something that is for like 5,000 people.
I think that's about as much as you could get realistically, especially considering the time of year. Mm-hmm. If it was a summer league, you could probably get like 20 plus into a stadium there because it is such a tourist destination.
But isn't been why I for one day I'd like to go to Lambeau Field in the winter.
Yeah.
And just see like Green Bay fans just shivering with the cheese heads on.
Yeah.
Looks amazing. I mean, we never went to a Broncos game in the winter. We did talk about doing it just to be there and in the elements, and I think that's why what it used to be called sporting. It was a sporting brand that went out of business, and now I think it's like EF Energy Field or something like that. But anyway, the whole design was to bring in the elements. The design was that if you're training and playing in there, you'd be more used to the elements. But anyway, I like that idea. So we've got Montana Missiles, you've got the stadium, the city. Who's your GM?
I had a hard time with this one. I almost thought it would be kind of funny since it's based off of like the U.S. government's missiles to just make it the U.S. government and like make the president or something like the GM.
Oh my God, I love that.
Or have like the sponsor being either the U.S. government or like some subcontractor like Raytheon, like a missile company, Lockheed Martin, something like that, and then make it that the stadium name.
Right.
And then, I don't know, maybe their employees could go play or go and watch the game for free as like a company perk or something.
I like what you're doing here. You're basically creating the football team for the USAA.
Yeah.
the USAA field. And then that's it. You've actually created a team that is purely based on the vets and military. You're going to have like such a huge following. And if you've got those color codings as well, you cannot love the Montana Missiles. It is America's team. Fuck the Cowboys. Yeah. This is America's
I just
team.
swooped in and took that piece from them.
I get excited by this. If I actually did have $2 billion, I might actually take your idea more than mine, because I think I prefer it a lot more. So GM, it's currently Biden, and I don't know if you're going to like that, but or maybe. Oh damn it! I should get a Biden button. I should get a Trump button. Oh. So many buttons. Okay, I'm going to work on that tonight when the baby goes down to bed. Okay, I like that. So GM, the US government, nice. What about the coach?
Oh man, I didn't even think about the coach. VP.
Okay.
How about it? Just follow the train down the
Kamala?
government. Yeah.
Oh, good.
We'll lose every game. Don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah, Kamala. Okay, great.
I don't know. I didn't think this through very well.
What's your mascot?
Well, I think it's just got to be a missile at this point.
Like a inflatable penis in silver.
I actually thought like this is a royally horrible idea that could go down like a really bad pathway, and I know Ollie's gonna make some stupid joke about it.
Oh yeah, they're definitely called the cocks or the penises.
Oh yeah, yeah, wouldn't go over very well.
Interesting that your mascot is gonna be a penis, like a missile. Might link with mine. Not saying that's gonna be a vagina or anything like that. My mascot's not a vagina. Okay, cool. So penis mascot and Kamala Harris heading that team. All right, so just a recap for what we're doing and who you would choose. You have basically 6 picks and 1 marquee, what would be around 1 draft pick in fantasy. So quarterback, a running back, wide receiver, tight end. So if you want to start with quarterback going down to tight end and then just say which one's going to be your marquee, and then 2 rookies from the last year's draft.
All right. Well, if we're going off of like what is current, I'd say probably Russell Wilson would be like my QB choice. I don't think he's technically considered a top tier at this point.
It'd have to be Mahomes, right? I think Mahomes, if you want QB, the only first rounder that would be. So yeah, right. Russ Wilson would be outside of that.
I think for running back, I might take McCaffrey. He's been really good. Even after his injury, he's already like showing that he's amazing still. I think he'd be my number 1 or my top tier. Yeah. Then would you say wide receiver?
Yeah, wide receiver.
Man, I had a hard time with this one too. I would probably Metcalf is probably not considered tier 1. He's close.
He's really close.
He's on that border. If he's not considered tier 1, I'd probably take him. Otherwise, I think I'd lean towards one of the Dallas Cowboys wide receivers, either CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper.
Yeah, because he got you 40 points.
Well, and they've been really good. I mean,
CeeDee's amazing.
Wow, yeah.
I saw CeeDee, and like just on the Cowboys side, as much as I hate the Cowboys, they're going to do well this year.
Even last year when he had no QB, he still was getting 20-plus points a game.
Yeah,
in fantasy, which is unreal.
It was terrific at OU as well. Yeah, it makes sense. Good wide receiver, and then your tight end.
Kelsey's really the only top tier one, and then what, you get to Kittle and then Waller probably.
Logan Thompson.
Yeah. Well, I actually have him on here. He's been pretty solid so far. He's getting about what they predicted, so right around 10, 11 points a game. So my alter ego in the NFL. And then if not him, then obviously like Waller probably would be another one that's not quite top. Well, he's probably top 3 now, I guess.
I think he's better than Kittle.
Okay, yeah, probably. Yeah, he's good.
I need 2 rookies.
2 rookies. This was hard. I'd probably go maybe Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
And I had really liked watching him this last weekend. He hasn't had a lot of play time, and I think he'll get a lot more. Eli Mitchell, running back for San Francisco.
Yeah.
He looked really good. Obviously, there's a lot behind Pitts right now. kind of so-so in his first week, but that's kind of to be expected with Atlanta.
I didn't know Eli Mitchell was a rookie. I should have known that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
It sounds right. I've never heard of him before. Because they got Trey Sermon as well.
Yep. Yeah, and Eli Mitchell did so well last week. I have a feeling they might make him their main option.
You got to kind of take them on the waivers, just hoping that.
Yeah. Yep. But I think that's more or less how I do. And then there's like a ton of other names I'd put on that list too, but I think just to make this short and sweet, that's who I'd probably go with.
Nice. All right. So Montana Missiles, led by the U.S. government and head coach Kamala Harris. Mascot is Missile Man Mike.
Yeah.
And then Russ Wilson, McCaffrey, CeeDee Lamb, Logan Thompson, and then Jalen Wardle and Eli Mitchell.
And don't blame me if any of your good players, go missing right before the game starts, since my team is run by the U.S. government.
Right. Oh, wow. Oh, shit. I thought you meant actually like goes missing because this is going to happen. But yeah, I like that you've got the government behind you. And what was the field? What do you want to call it? The Raytheon?
Something like that. One of the contractors would probably sponsor.
Would it be an indoor stadium? Like, would it be covered or outdoors?
I think I'd want to make it outdoors just to have like that extra element to the game. I always like those outdoor games, having the snow involved. And Montana gets a fuck ton of snow, so I think it'd be awesome.
Snow games are insane. You don't get that many of them in the UK. No, seriously though, because FIFA always has the snow mode. I remember when FIFA used to have the snow mode, they gave the impression that every other game in the UK was snowy. And I was like, we might get a really good one once every other season.
Yeah.
But I used to love like kind of watching. I think it was last year. I think it was like the Bills playing like the Panthers in Buffalo, and it was thick. Like they just constantly after every single. Or every other play, they're kind of just doing the lines.
Yep. Do all the
lines. It's like playing soccer in that thick snow is impossible.
Oh, it would never work.
So the fact that you're still... I love it. I love that they keep that extreme, that they don't kind of call it off.
Yep.
I love it. I like that. That's a really good thing. Well, look...
so what have you got then?
So this is my competing thing that would take to Commissioner Gordon to see which one he goes for. So I thought about it, and I was thinking, like, look, New York has 2 teams, LA has 2 teams, the third city, Chicago, has 1, but they have 2 baseball teams. So there's probably Chicago is the third city, right? In terms of population,
it's got to be really close. I know Texas has some that are getting up there
they're
too.
Getting there. Phoenix took over Philadelphia for number 8, I think. So
yeah,
we're moving up.
Gotta get out of
here. Yeah, all those Californians coming in.
So you're saying Chicago?
No, I was thinking about that. And I was thinking, like, do you have like a competing one, or again, do you go for something like you did with like Montana, like just a more of a rural state, like in Alabama, like fantasy. Everybody loves football out there. But
speaking of that, just on a quick side note, I was looking up like team names for like people's hypotheticals like we're doing right now, and the Alabama one was Sister Cousins.
Oh my god.
The Alabama Sister Cousins.
Oh my god. That is insane. Well actually here I'm going to show you our sponsor for today. Now this is it's not a fictitious sponsor, but I just thought this would be something cool to tell everybody about. Like oh my god, so Shiba Inu, I think, did we do it on this? Did I do this with you when we're talking about? I think it was like, who the hell? It was probably with Ben. Basically, we're saying like, with the betting stuff, like if I come out with 500 at the end of a year of NFL betting season, I put that winnings into crypto. You got to time it right. But I want to tell everybody about Shibu because it's like this is a really cool little cryptocurrency. It's meant to be that. Anyway, it went onto Coinbase, became available on Coinbase yesterday. Now, when a crypto goes into Coinbase from more of not a lesser site, but a lesser known kind of marketplace, usually goes up by about 250%.
Yeah.
it went up to about 40% from where it previously was, but I think it's just because there's so much. But now, yeah, it went up about 40%. So if anybody did listen and get Shiba Inu, you probably made a couple of $100 from it getting onto Coinbase. Yeah. So if it goes onto Robinhood and it becomes more commonly available, it's more basically just saying, yes, we're validating that this is a good crypto. It has some legs. So that was one of our previous, I don't know, a sponsor, but just a kind of a shout out, just watch out for this. It's quite cool product or a crypto.
Sure.
Same thing here. So we're both big into soccer and just sports. And if I look at my closet, I do have a lot of soccer attire, and I usually go on Fanatics at the end of the season, and I'll look at their clearance items, and you can get some jerseys for like $5, and there might be like 2 seasons ago, but you just have to kind of search and know where you're looking. So there was do you know Rick that we play with in basically like the dad's pickup league in Power? He's always got all these different jerseys, and he said to me one time, "Oh, Ollie, I've got over 100." I was like, "What the fuck?" And he said, "Yeah," I said, "I've got over 100." And I said, "So." Chris, one of the other guys, that said, just show me the site. It was like DHgate. And it's basically like the Chinese Amazon. So it looks like it was created on like Windows 95 in terms of it looks relatively sketchy. And the replica jerseys. Now, I remember replica jerseys because my wife went to Barcelona and brought me this, what she thought was a Barcelona jersey for $60. I was like, well, yeah, she could be fine with thinking that because $60 is a decent amount. But it was like, didn't have the Nike swoosh. It was like the materials. I mean, I use it as a pajamas. But this stuff, I'm just showing Logan here. So I love soccer jerseys and things like that. I think they're just nice to be around. So this is, I'm just seeing if there's one. So this is Dortmund's.
The layout is very similar to Amazon.
Right. It is. So what they do, they won't show their the actual branding because it's imitation, right? So and I'm like, again, I'm not promoting that you buy a fake, but it's a different option, and it has other things that you can buy. I'm probably going to get cancelled from this, but I got a text from them on WhatsApp, and it was really cool. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. And I got an Aston Villa one.
Oh, Ollie Watkins.
And they put it in, so it's a Kappa jersey. So they put the tags on. And it's coming from China, so it's going to take a month or 2. I went a little bit crazy. I've ordered 20 jerseys. But they're $15 each. And so I'm excited. But actually, one thing to remember is the guy that we play soccer with said, Ollie said, I didn't have your number. And just as soon as I told you about it, it's like, get a size above what you usually order. I was like, well, fuck. I'm going to have 13 size small. Mediums, that should be small. So I've kind of got them in larger. So we'll see. But I do have a mate, Al, that I think would fit into a small, so I can just give them to him. But have a look, check it out. But the thing I was going to say is that when you were talking about Jalen Waddle, I really like Jalen Waddle. I really like Jamar Chase for Bengals. And I like those jerseys. Same thing here. You can get the jerseys for about $25, and they're spitting image. Now, I think the quality of the print is where it goes away, so you hand wash them. But check it out, dhgate.com. Something cool to look at. And again, when we're thinking about that branding, this is where I think you can do like custom jerseys on here as well. Did you ever play on our team when we had the Dortmund jerseys?
No.
On the Sunday League one? We used to use, and this is where they got them from now that I think about it, and the print did go away. Anyway, that is our kind of shout out or sponsor for the week. So my team, I talked about Austin having an expansion team. I think it's the largest US area without a professional team. Now they have Austin FC is soccer, so it has got one, but then again it is soccer. But I still think that Austin FC is going to do well. I don't know what it is about the MLS. It's just something that even when I watch the MLS, I don't get excited by it.
It's harder. I think it's just there's not a whole lot of international presence yet, and that's the whole thing that like the Premier League has, and Serie A and the Spanish League. I mean, you get all these players from all over the world, and MLS is really a lot of just Americans at this point, with kind of the, I guess, last couple of seasons that some of those European players end up having.
Higuain.
Yeah, Rooney.
Messi's going to do it at some point.
Schweinsteiger.
Yeah.
So Zidane, or not Zidane, but
Beckham,
and then
Gerrard.
This is the guy that played in LA with the ponytail.
Is it Ibrahimovic?
Yeah, Ibrahimovic.
Which is strange because Ibrahimovic went back to.
I know, and still is doing well. So
it's interesting when you do have a house which is very open. It's incredible how noise carries. Yeah, so look, Austin didn't have one, so I'm going for Austin. I lived in Austin. I love Austin, and I didn't make enough of it. And I've actually done a little sketch for you, which I'm going to show. But also, just so you can follow along, in your Google search, just search Austin skyline. I'm doing this for Logan's benefit. Have you been to Austin before?
I'm not. It's on my list. We've only been to Texas one time, I think. No, that's not true. Twice. We've done Fort Worth and Dallas area.
That sounds shit. For Texas, yeah, because it's usually very flat, right? So Austin actually has what they call the hill countries, which is where the wine is, and it gives you a little bit of undulation and something to look at. So Austin, this bridge here, and I've talked about the bridge before. Actually, is this one, or where are we looking? It's got to be this one. This bridge is where it's this one. It's on Congress. It's where the biggest bat population in the U.S. repopulated after the U.S. government. Again, we're talking about kind of, it wasn't Kennedy. It was, I think, the one after Kennedy. Lyndon Johnson. I think it was Johnson. They found these caverns, and that was going to be their bunkers. And they had to move the bat population. So the bat population moved to this bridge in downtown Austin. So at dusk, thousands and thousands, if not millions of bats come from under and flood the city. And it's really cool. It's really cool to watch. So people kind of go there. Now, so I was thinking, how do I get credit? But I would call them Austin Bats. That's what I've called them before. Valencia soccer team is, if you look at their logo, and I'm gonna use the same colours that I would use for what Valencia have, or similar colours. No, I'd use identical colours because it also links in with the Longhorns, with the college team. So this is Valencia's jersey, and they have the bats, and they play in white, orange, and black, and their reverse colours is black and orange. So I just use the same colour palette as that because I think it goes well with bats. So Austin Bats. Or Austin City Bats. The stadium. Now, you're really going to need everybody to visualize this because we're not doing this on YouTube. So this is the skyline here. So you have the river. It's a lake. It's actually the Colorado River, but then it goes into what they call Town Lake or Lady Bird Lake, and people kind of go kayaking all along here. Now, there isn't much elevation in Austin, but here, where I'm pointing, kind of like where the downtown area, it goes up a little bit, but there's a space right about here which is just slightly west. Well, it's downtown, but it's kind of west downtown. And if you look there's a gap. Now, I would put tens of thousands of tons of soil to elevate that by about another 100 feet. I'm a billionaire. I can do what the fuck I want. So this would be really high, and I'd plant a stadium on it. So the stadium overlooks the skyline and the lake, and same idea. I am cutting out that part of the stadium. So it's almost like a horseshoe.
See the bats.
So you can see the bats, you can see the skyline, but get this. Again, putting a lot of fucking soil into this. The stadium's going to be built into the hillside, and part of the hillside so it's going to have a cave effect. So part of the stadium's going to be covered, and part of it's not. Okay. So it's kind of got this, like you're in a cave. So it's going to be known unofficially as the Bat Cave, a little bit like the Death Star for the Raiders.
You better make your mascot Batman.
Actually, it should have been Batman. I don't know why I didn't do a bat. I actually went, so my mascot is Colin the Cannon. And why it's Colin the Cannon is, have you ever seen the Come and Take It Texas sign? And I think it was David Crockett at the Alamo said, come and take it. And it's basically canon. One of my really good friends who I used to work with in Houston, her brother got the tattoo on his arm. I said, Ollie, it looks like he's got a fucking turd on his bicep. And it did look a little bit like Mr. Hanky. But if you search Come and Take It, Texas, so it would be a canon. It's kind of an homage to the Alamo and stuff like that. So calling the canon, similar to your missile, I told there'd be a symmetry.
Yeah.
So my GM, again, there's a little bit of symmetry here. There's two options. We'd interview them both. George Bush Jr. and obviously Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of goes without saying. Actually, one thing I thought, you didn't actually have Kevin Costner as your GM because he is in Yellowstone, and he also was the GM in Draft Day.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity, but I guess he's on the market now. My head coach, Jurgen Klopp, the Liverpool manager, and I do it a little bit like a Ted Lasso piece. You bring in a soccer coach to do a football team. He's just so expressive. I think
a fun coach.
He's a fun coach. I'd love to see how he would do in the NFL, just in press conferences. So then my signings would be, and that was this is my sketch.
Oh, up on the hill.
Up on the hill. That's the river there.
Yeah.
Bat cave. See if we can get planning permission for that. Probably going to cost a bit. So quarterback, I actually went for Russ as well, with Matt Stafford as another option.
Yeah.
Running back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I struggled at running back outside because like tier 1, they all go in the first round anyway. So it's like, well, who'd you go for if you don't take it as your marquee? Wide receiver, Debo Samuel. Again, I thought the same with DK. If he's not classed as that, I'd probably go for DK and then obviously Russ. Just kind of one of my favourite players. But Debo is one of my favourite players and always pick him. I mean, obviously, he had a great performance this last weekend.
Yep.
And then my marquee signing would be Travis Kelce. I think Travi, he can be Batman. My rookies would be Justin Fields and Jamar Chase or Waddle. And the rookies Fields would be, if I did go for a Stafford or even Russ Wilson, you got somebody behind him and also get him to this kind of trade value where it's like he does really well and then you can get a few picks to build that team up. So that would be Austin Betts. I do have to say, I do love your idea as just visually I can imagine the missiles and it'd be just such a cool... Oh, I didn't tell you my sponsor. So because the sponsor would be... it's probably going to be like it's not going to be called the Batcave. It was going to be a team or like a company. And I think Toyota is based in Texas. So it would be like the Toyota Arena. But then I realized they sponsor the Taliban and they provide them with as all their equipment that they need. So I couldn't have the Toyota Arena. And also Houston Rockets have that. So I'd go for the Yeti Arena because Yeti is based and founded out of
Tesla
Austin.
now.
Are they in Austin?
They just moved to Austin. Elon Musk just moved everything to Austin, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know how Colin the Cannon would feel about working at the Tesla Arena. I'd go for the Yeti Arena because Yeti, they have a store right there. Nobody can see where I'm pointing, but it's on the Congress, just off the Congress Bridge. The Yeti Arena, formerly known as the Toyota Arena before they started sponsoring the Taliban.
Cancel? Yeah.
So... right, well, that was fun. I that was a longer episode than I thought. But what I'd say is, again, there's no video games where you can do this, where you can really go and create. I think like NBA 2K has something a little bit like that. But I just love this creativity. If you have any ideas, please write into the British Football Guy at gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook. I actually probably need to do more on the Facebook page, but we do get the occasional email with questions. Like we had the one this week who said, would you start or sit Matt Ryan over Barbara Streisand? And we can give some good advice. Go for Barbs.
Yeah, I would.
Not my ace. All right, we'll be back with another episode next week, but in real time in a few minutes. Thanks for listening. Oh, no. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum.